Hey guys, so once again I'm home alone, so I decided it'd be a good opportunity to make another video. Um, so I wasn't sure which one I'd make, but I decided to go with the pros and cons of hospitalisation because I know a lot of people have asked me questions about, whether I'd recommend it, and they like, I don't know, it's just something that you don't really understand until you go there, and there's a lot of misconceptions, I guess, because of movies and things like that. But yeah, I made a small list. I'm trying to make this video as quick as I can because my last one went for ages. Anyway, so I should get started. Number one, sorry about my parents. And I'm in my school uniform, which is probably not the best idea for YouTube, but I shall live. Okay, number one, which is like probably the most important pro, is safety. Um, this mainly includes like psych wards. But I mean, even in terms of like treatment facilities and stuff, these can apply. Safety's a massive one. If you can't really trust yourself to keep yourself safe, then hospitalisation or inpatient treatment is definitely a really good option. There's nurses there constantly looking after you and checking in every half an hour or so. And yeah, the next one, isolation. Yeah, that was a big one that I didn't like. I mean, it can be both a pro and a con, but I'm sticking to the con because sometimes you get stuck with all your thoughts when you don't have that contact with others, or when you don't have like things to do and stuff. Whereas some places might provide like strategies and groups and stuff. There's just a lot of time to yourself still. And yeah. Next one is pro is dependence. Now this one was one that I found as a pro. Others might not, but by dependence I mean having your choices taken away from you. I know my first one at the eating disorder unit, that was a really good thing because if they hadn't force fed me, tube fed me, then I don't think I would have like survived much longer, I guess. It kind of makes you feel less guilty for, eating or other stuff because, you realize you don't have a choice. You just go through it and follow the procedures and rules and stuff. And sometimes it's nice being wrapped up in cotton wool and being treated as a child. You don't have that pressure on you and stuff like that. Next con is anxiety and awkwardness. Yeah, it can be really awkward and anxiety provoking for the first few days, but it gets so much easier when you settle in. You get used to the routine, and you get used to the people there and stuff. Then it definitely becomes better in most places. Like, I know some of these might not apply to ones you've been to or ones around your area, but I'm trying to make it as generalized as I can. Another pro is making friends. This is a really good one. I made a lot of friends. Don't necessarily mean like people that you talk to every day, or people that you're gonna instantly become best friends with, but it's just meeting people that are like going through a lot of the same things that you are, who are really understanding and won't judge you. Even if it's just like becoming Facebook friends and just occasionally messaging them, it's definitely like really good, and I'm really grateful for the people that I met in both my stays. Just to clarify for those who don't know, my first stay was at an eating disorder unit at hospital, and my second was an adolescent psych ward for half a month. Yeah, anyway. Con is separation from your real life friends. yes, it's difficult not having that closeness or connection with like your friends, and it can create a lot of distance. But I think a pro that kind of stems from that is that you see who your true friends are, those that, you know, come visit you, or when you're on leave, you know, like people that care. So yeah. Next pro is self-reflection. Yeah, kind of self-explanatory. Gives you time away from everything and everyone. And just like kind of gives you a reality check in a way. And hopefully motivates you to get better, pick up your act and stuff. Con, boredom, kind of been into that already. Sometimes there's absolutely nothing to do. I remember my first day or so. Sorry, my laptop. My first day or so, I did not have anything packed with me, and I was extremely bored. Just had to like sit there reading, or I had this like rubber band ball that I took apart and put it together because of how bored I was. But there are still fun activities. It kind of makes you appreciate other activities like walks and movies and stuff more. Pro, hope. Yeah, kind of like being there kind of can give you hope. Yeah, I don't know. Con, this is kind of a big con that I'm throwing out there. It can be quite triggering, and it can allow you to pick up negative behaviours or coping mechanisms. I know for my first one, it was so triggering because everyone was really thin and stuff at the inpatient, and I was like a normal weight, so that was definitely triggering. And the fact that people just sit around kind of talking about that kind of negative behaviour and stuff. But you know, it kind of makes you grow as a person, I guess, trying to endure that crap. And as long as you just like stick to your purpose and your recovery or keeping yourself safe, then it shouldn't really matter what other people are doing or saying, because it's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. It was something I found really helpful in my second hospitalisation, was the fact that we weren't allowed to talk about any personal stuff or anything like that. If the nurses caught us talking about why we were there or anything like that, then they'd stop us and like give us a warning and stuff. And it can be really stupid because you want to know why people are there, who they are and stuff. Just part of like being bored and wanting to get to know people. But I appreciate them putting that rule into place. Okay, next one, nurses. That's a pro. Yes, nurses are really lovely most of the time, and yeah, it kind of gives you a great appreciation of the healthcare system sometimes. Con, there's you can face a lot of stigma from others, like people from school if they find out. But again, it shouldn't matter in the long run. You know, you're there for yourself and no one else. So people can, you know, go fuck themselves or something because, you know, you're there for your own reasons and people don't understand. And that's their problem. Pro, escaping realism. It's awesome getting away from everything, being away from home and not seeing family or people from school for a while. Yeah, it's just I found that good. I'm not sure how it was, but yeah. Con, difficulty once you're in the real world. This is kind of why my second one I stayed for such a short amount of time. It was an average stay, 2 to 3 weeks, but from what I've heard from the nurses, they used to make it a thing that you'd stay for a few months, but then they found that people would get attached to the place. They'd start relying on the place a lot, so then when they're in the real world, they'll struggle, you know, they'd try to kill themselves, or they just wouldn't know how to act and stuff, and thus they made shorter hospital stays. But yeah, even with such short ones, it's still difficult. You're used to others making decisions for you and stuff, and then you having to do that yourself can be difficult, but it can definitely be overcome if you've got enough help and support in the real world, which hopefully the hospitalisation or place will afford you with the opportunity. That's all for the cons. I've got a few more pros. Yes, there's always someone there, no matter how much you're struggling and stuff. There's usually 99% of the time someone there to talk to, someone you can confide in, or just to hold your hand. I know nurses can be really supportive and can kind of enforce techniques and can kind of just be a nice person there to hear you out. It can be difficult to reach out. I found it really difficult to let the people know I was struggling, but instead of me reaching out and stuff, I just compromised in that regard and kind of made myself notably distressed, so then I didn't have to say anything and they could just act and check in on me more regularly. So and final pro, which is really, really, really important, is teachers and enforces new skills and techniques. Again, it's different in other places. Some psych wards are awful and are there just to keep you safe in a secluded room. But the one I was at, they specialised in DBT. And yeah, that we had like DBT groups and stuff, and then the nurses were all trained in DBT, and they'd give us new skills, and then they'd make us practice them every day and stuff. And yeah, you kind of just like opens your awareness, like teaching you about like wise mind and mindfulness and things like that. It can be really helpful. I know I've got a box of stuff over there. Just stuff that I picked up. You kind of get like bags of like get papers and stuff of information, keep it together, and it can be really helpful when you're out in the real world. That's all I have. 12-minute video. So if there's any pros and cons that you've experienced in your hospitalisation or going to a treatment centre, feel free to comment below. I'm just trying to put out basic ones. The big question is, would I recommend going? And I would say definitely. It can be super hard to get into, especially like treatment centres with insurance and beds available. But if you are ever given the opportunity, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're not feeling safe. Going to a psych ward for a few days can be beneficial, and it can be super scary, and there's so much stigma and like fear of the unknown, but just going there to experience it can be helpful. So I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, that's about it. Sorry for making you look at my face for 14 minutes, but yeah. So I'm going to try to get this uploaded. If there's any other videos you want me to make, comment below. I'm planning on making an anxiety one soon when I get another chance of being home alone. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope this has been helpful. Take care, guys.